I'm really excited to kick off the first lesson of the first module of the Mindset for Growth course. So come along with me as we continue to work together to build this out. The goal of this course is to help you create a mindset for growth. What does that mean? That means goal setting. It means making sure that you follow through with those goals that you set and you accomplish everything that you are meant to accomplish. You defeat negative habits. You defeat things that are holding you back, and it's all in our mind. Everything that's holding you back from accomplishing everything that you want is in your mind. So I appreciate you coming along with me on the journey, and let's kick it off. Okay, so defining success is a personal journey. What does success actually mean to you? We're going to discover that in each one of our courses or our lessons here. So, two main criteria for success. And a lot of times, this is how we define success individually. What do others think? Do others think we're successful? And then the second one is, do we think we're successful? And a lot of times, that's very different. Other people can think you're ultra successful, and you believe that you're a complete failure. And that's a big disconnect. So, what does success actually mean to you? Now, this comes in a lot of different ways. A lot of people tie success to some financial goal or financial number, and they are never successful until they ultimately hit that number. And maybe it's I've got $1 million in my 401k, or it's I make $100,000 a year. And it's funny that when you get to $100,000 a year, it's 130,000, it's 150,000. For some reason, that number continues to elude you as to what you define success is. So the goal of this particular lesson is to help you define for yourself what success really means. So it's not just about financial success that we're talking about. Maybe it's personal fulfillment. Do you feel empty? Do you feel that regardless of how successful you are, it just seems to not be fulfilling for you? Maybe you're at a great job, you've spent a ton of money on an education, and you've gotten to the top of that particular field only to feel like that it's not fulfilling. It's not your true purpose that you're meant to achieve. Maybe it's career advancement. For me, I know that was early on. I tied success to the next promotion. And no matter what promotion I got, it never seemed to be enough to get to that next promotion. I just like, okay, I still don't feel successful yet. Why don't I feel successful yet? I've continued to progress in my career, but I'm not successful. So, I had to go back and really think about what does actually success mean to me. And that's going to evolve over time as well. You will, at different periods throughout your life, maybe as you're graduating high school, moving into college, success means something to you. Maybe you're a person who is in your early 20s or mid 30s, and success means something very different to you. It could be children, it could be growing in your career, it could be financial, whatever that means, but make it unique to you. And then there's contribution to society. Maybe success to you is that you volunteer a lot. You're very active in your church community. What is it that you are using as that benchmark to define success for yourself? So success, to be meaningful, must be a personal thing. It's got to be unique to you. You can't look at other people and use other people's yardsticks to measure your success. You don't do that when you measure your height. Somebody says, how tall are you? You're as tall as you are. I'm 5'7". I can't look at the next guy and use that measuring stick and say, hey, I'm 6 foot, because that's not me. So it's similar. How do you measure success is going to be very personal to you. And by the end of this course, we want you to have identified what does success mean to you and help you accomplish what that next step in accomplishing your goals. So 5 essential ingredients for success. I really like this definition of how do you really look at what the definition of success is. So purpose, you must have confidence that what you're doing is moving forward towards a goal. So there's that sense of purpose that you're actually accomplishing things because there are going to be ups and downs, right? And a great batting average, which means that you're not looking at perfection. Don't try to shoot for or try to hit perfection in everything that you do. Understand that you're on a journey. And the road to success, however you define it, it's actually the activity and the journey that you're on that creates the success. It's not a destination. The price, it's not free. If you thought for some reason that I was going to give you a magic bullet or some magic phrase or something like that, you're sadly mistaken, because that's not what this is. I'm not teaching principles that are necessarily new. It's just my take on how we get to those particular things. And so it's funny that throughout the years, I love listening to motivational speeches. I love reading books and all that kind of stuff. And there's consistency in all of the foundational pieces to become successful. And sometimes you can hear it, you can hear it, you can hear it, you can hear it, but that one person says one thing a little bit differently, frames it a little bit differently, and it clicks. And that's what I'm hoping to achieve for someone, even if it's one person, by producing this course on Mindset for Growth. So the price, success is not free. The joy of success must be balanced by the effort to achieve it. If you're just handed something, there's an emptiness to it. It's great, but it's not going to actually fulfill you and make you feel successful, right? That's why lottery winners end up a lot of times broke after 5 or 6 years, because it wasn't the effort that got them that windfall. It was a handout that gave them that windfall, and they weren't in a place where they could handle it and understood how to handle it. Satisfaction. You and only you can determine what exactly success means, like what we've talked about. And spirituality. Knowing your success is fulfilling a greater purpose. God has a unique purpose for each and every person here on earth. It's up to us to figure out what that was. I was listening to something the other day, and it was talking about, he was a singer. And he said, so it was actually a Christian artist. And he was talking about the fact that people would ask him, so you're fulfilling God's purpose for your life by being a singer? He said, no. God's purpose for my life is not to be a singer. Because what happens if my voice goes away, or I get in an accident and I can't sing anymore? Does that mean that God's purpose for my life is done? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that you are here to enjoy life and learn from this aspect of life as it relates in context with eternity. So really cool stuff that I thought would be helpful. So let's talk about the different areas of success that we typically look at: career and business, relationships and emotional well-being, physical and mental health, personal growth and lifelong learning, and that contribution to giving back. All of these are going to be specific areas that you're going to want to focus on, but there's no such thing as balance. Balance is also unique to the individual. Balance for me means I work a lot. That's what I like to do. That's what balances me. I need very little downtime. I need very little, quote, rest. A lot of times when I'm resting, I'm learning, I'm reading a book, I'm doing investigation online about a new thing, I'm listening to new podcasts, I'm doing those things that continue to activate my mind. In that way, I'm balanced. Balance to you may mean you work for 8 hours a day and you go home and you rest and spend time with family. But that is, again, unique to you. So business or career, we're going to kind of focus in on one specific area and talk a little bit about, some questions you may ask yourself, whatever you decide to use to define that level of success for yourself. So business or career success, are you satisfied with work, right? 90% of, well, I don't know that the number's right. 90% of people are not necessarily satisfied with their work life. Why? How did you get to do what you're doing now? Was it you fell into it, or did you actually plan to do it? Maybe you went to school and you had decided that that's what you wanted to do, and you went to school for it. You're doing it. Maybe it's a doctor, a lawyer, something like that. But then to get there and to realize, wait, this is not really what I want to do. That's sad. And it's sad because you think that you got to keep doing what that is. You don't. Nothing is written anywhere that says you absolutely have to do that. It's about maybe your income or the lifestyle that you've set up for yourself. That may be the part that's determining that you're staying where you don't need to be or you don't want to be. That's a whole different story, and the one that we'll work through as we go through the course. Desired income level, that could also be part of the business and career goals that you want to set for yourself to define that success. Autonomy and freedom. Now, this is big for me. What's my need for independence? I heard one time that we build our own jails, and we do that not intentionally and not as an immediate thing. We actually trap ourselves in the lifestyle that we create for ourselves, because now I've gotten my bills to the point where I absolutely have to have a certain level of income in order to support that. And that's cool, except for the fact sometimes that I have to do things that I don't want to do in order to support the lifestyle that I've become accustomed to. So it's all up to you. Maybe it's professional recognition. You like awards. You like to strive to do things that way. That could be also how you define success. But leverage your strengths. Don't focus on your weaknesses. Always leverage your strengths. So I love this quote. Beware of no one more than yourself. We carry our worst enemies within us, right here. This can either help you or hurt you. And it's all about the self-talk and how you communicate with yourself. The information that you put in, the expectations that you have of yourself, the expectations you feel like that others have of you. So I'm going to frame this a little bit different. I really was studying NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Goal setting has been, and we all hear and have talked about SMART goal setting, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, all that kind of stuff. That's great. But I'm going to frame it a little bit different, becoming smarter than SMART goals. So for every result you want to achieve, ask yourself these 7 questions. And this is really about the outcome. It's the same kind of thing. So I'm not saying that SMART goals are not the way to do it. I'm just trying to reframe it in a different way to help you say, how can I be more consistent in achieving my goals that I want to set for myself for success? So number 1, is the goal stated in the positive? When you write down the goal that you're trying to achieve, are you stating it in the positive? I am successful. I am a business owner. I am moving into a new home. I am achieving that promotion. Is the goal self-initiated, maintained, and within my control? Do you have control over achieving that goal? Or are you relying on outside forces in order to do that? Now, in some degree, we're all reliant on outside forces, but how much of it do you have control over? When will I know that I've achieved my goals? Is it just so far out there in advance that you don't know that you've actually achieved the end result? So that's where that measurable comes in, right? And this is just, again, a different way to kind of frame SMART goals. Is the context of the goal clearly defined? Do I really understand what I'm doing when I'm setting that goal? Does the goal identify the necessary resources that I'm going to need in order to achieve that goal. Maybe it's education, maybe it's hiring somebody else to help you achieve that particular goal. How does that goal that you've set for yourself identify the necessary resources? And how have I evaluated whether the goal fits within the aspects of my life? What are you willing to give up? And are you willing to give up to hit that goal? So I can set a goal that I'm going to start a new business, but I have a full-time job. Well, cool, you have a full-time job and you want to start a new business. Something's got to give. Personal time in the evening, or you're going to quit your job and go all in. How does it fit your life? And are you willing to make that change to get the goal? Does the goal identify the first step I need to take? It's very interesting. So a 4-point formula for success. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. That statement has been repeated to me over the years, and it just continues to challenge my daily activity. Unless you change, nothing's going to change. So 1, know your outcome. Clearly define what it exactly is that you want. And then take action. Now, this is where a lot of times we're good at the planning, we're good at defining the outcome, but we're not good at taking the first step to action because we're afraid to fail. Now, remember, you're going to fail. Failure, you just need to fail faster than you would normally so that you can continue to figure out ways to succeed. Develop sensory awareness. I like really this particular aspect of a different way to look at achieving my goals, right? You have to develop an awareness that when things aren't working, you're going to figure out how do I modify, how do I change, what do I do differently in order to achieve the goal. The goal didn't change. It's how do I achieve it differently. I like the analogy of if I'm going to Florida from Texas and I leave and I have the best plan, right? I'm going to drive down straight out I-10, I think it is, right? And I'm going to keep going. But what happens if I-10's closed? Does that stop me from getting to my goal in Florida? No, it just means I need to divert and take a different route. If that way's blocked, I need to divert and take a different route. We're so used to now with a GPS, right? Recalculating. Well, that's exactly what you're going to do in accordance with your goal. The goal doesn't change. The plan to get there may change. Maintain behavioral flexibility. Simply put, if it ain't working, change it. Do something different. Don't get stuck. Exactly what we were just talking about. So the journey to your success, as we get ready to define how do we, again, the goal of this particular lesson is defining what success means to you. You're going to embrace the highs and lows. The journey's not going to be a straight line. It's going to be a roller coaster, and we're going to be on that roller coaster together. Overcome setbacks. You're going to have disappointments. You're going to make mistakes. That means you dust yourself off. You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back in the race. It doesn't mean you quit. You may feel like you want to quit. Don't quit permanently. Celebrate the milestones. As we begin to achieve things, we have to recognize the path that we're on and that we have achieved it. I heard something this morning, and it was talking about the fact that, do you realize that you've already achieved some of the goals that you've set for yourself in your life? What you wished for, what you prayed for years ago has already come to pass in a lot of instances. Maybe it's children, and now you have children. But now there are new goals, but you're not recognizing the fact that you accomplished something. You started a family. You got that new job. You graduated from college. Take time to celebrate your milestones. Adapt to change, exactly what we were talking about. As life priorities evolve, you're going to have to adapt to change in order to accomplish the things that you really want to accomplish. And leverage your strengths. Focus on those things that you're good at, that you're passionate about. That's what's going to help you make sure you stay focused on your goals and accomplishing how you define success. Again, to some degree, blinders on. When you define your success, you can't compare it to everybody else. Nobody else, if I took you and put you in somebody else's life, you're going to be disappointed. Yes, okay, you would want to be Elon Musk or maybe Donald Trump or some other rich, wealthy person. But I guarantee you, if I put you in their life, you have their problems and their challenges, you're going to want yours back very quickly. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Don't give up. Keep going. So defining a success. So we're going to reflect on our values and priorities. And this, at the end of this, we're going to write out how we define success in a simple statement. You're going to set those specific measurable goals or outcomes. Go back and use that framework as it relates to outcomes versus maybe SMART goals. If that's the way you want to do it as a SMART goal, cool. But first of all, in order to get there, we've got to define what success means to us. Now, you can say, I wanted to take this course because I want to achieve one specific goal, or maybe it's more of a lifetime goal. However you define it, again, what does success mean to you? Develop a growth mindset. You are never arrived. You're always going to be evolving, and you're always going to be learning something new. So that's ultimately what you're going to achieve, and it's this journey that we're on. Build a supportive network. You need to look for people who are going to support you, but it's not necessary for people to support you in order for you to accomplish what you're after. Practice self-care. That's how you talk to yourself. That's how you take care of yourself. So what do I do next? Keep it simple. And as an exercise for lesson 2, I want you to write out a paragraph or a sentence. It doesn't matter. It can be as long as you want it to be. What does success mean to me? And you can pick these 3 primary areas. Business or career, what does success mean to me? Maybe it's my health. What does success mean to me as it relates to my health? And your emotional success. What makes you happy? What keeps you fulfilled? Write out what success means to you as it relates to emotional. If you pick those 3 areas, then we can combine them and develop that mindset for growth as we continue on. So, next up, the next lesson is going to be thinking your way to success, how we're unlocking the power of positive mindset. So I want to thank you for participating in lesson 1. I hope you'll continue to join us as we continue through the lessons of the Mindset for Growth course. You're going to come along with me as I build it out, and I'd love to get your comments and thoughts on each and every single lesson. Appreciate it. Have a great thing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.